Hello, hello. How is everyone? Oh, Lordy. I have been working hard trying to get ready to do this video. That's one thing about this one recipe and all of my experimentation with it is it takes a lot of time to become prepared to do something with it, with all the mixing and, when you make up that pouring medium, you might as well go ahead and pour it all, so you end up pouring a lot of paint at one time, and it just takes me a long time. I'm very painstaking about it. I like to get them all stirred real thoroughly and get the consistencies the same, and that involves adding water to some and, bunches of stirring, and you know how it goes. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm fixing to, hey Cadums, there's my kitty cat. There was my cat. Hey Cadums. Hey baby. My cat just came home. He's been gone hunting for a couple of days. I don't know why he still does that. He's been fixed for a long time. But he'll disappear for a couple of days and then he'll come back. I don't like it. It makes me nervous and I worry about him, but he always comes back. Anyway, I'm back to my one big bloom experiment. What I'm trying to do today is replicate one I did that was on a smaller canvas as closely as I can. We all know that's impossible to do. I don't, especially now, because I'm not even sure which one of those pigments which pigments I put in it. Because I've just been working so frenetically trying to get the technique down on this big one. I haven't really been keeping track a whole lot about which colors I'm using, or I haven't been documenting that. I always put my colors and stuff in. I tell them to you, or else I put them in the description, or both, and I haven't even been doing that lately because when I get to this stage of it, I don't even know what the colors are because, well, let's just be honest, I can't read the labels on that tiny little writing, and I keep forgetting to bring my glasses in here, so if I don't know what they are to begin with, how can I tell you? It's a problem I have to fix by remembering to wear my glasses in here, so it's something I'm going to work on. Plus, I've altered a bunch of them. I don't just use the pigment as it comes out of the jar. I've added other pigments or colors, and so they're all kind of custom made at this point. I'll get better about that as I get more practice with it and get a little more used to using them. I've only been using the pigments now for a few days and I really love them, but I'm not just real familiar with all of them yet. So I'm going to try to do this piece just like I did the first time, except on a smaller canvas, because it was really beautiful. It was one that was, I can't remember what video it was on, but it was really pretty and ethereal looking. My mom says it looks like heaven. And she wants the smaller one, and she would really rather it be bigger. So I am going to try to make a version of it that's a little bigger. Well, quite a bit bigger. This canvas size is quite a bit bigger than that 11 by 14. So I don't know what size this is. I can't remember. Let me brace that a little bit because it's wandering. It wanders in a different way every time I put a new canvas on here. And I don't know what it is, except for the way, maybe I haven't got any consistency as far as which way it's going to go. Even with one big one to the next big one, maybe it's putting it in a different orientation or whatever, but it slants a different way, it seems like, every time. And so I'm still kind of trying to work the kinks out of that. I've just been doing it on a case-by-case basis, so because I'm not ready to put anything permanent in to try to fix it, because I don't know where I would, how I would brace it. Yet I don't know where the braces need to go, in other words. I'm still trying to do what I'm doing right now is just, you know, propping it up a little bit just to make it stop wandering for this video, and then eventually I'll get it fixed on a more permanent scale. But for right now, I'm just going to do that, okay? Because I'm just innovative like that. I have made some beautiful colors. That first one there is a Payne's Gray from ColourArt, and it's got a little bit of sort of an aquamarine added to it. So it has a tad bit of a greenish tint. I don't know if y'all can make that out or not, but it does. And, you know, then the second one is a bronze from Arteza. And the third one is like a peacock ColourArt color with some grass green from Master's Touch added in. Because I wanted it to be a little greener. All of these colors have got silicone added. Y'all know that I do that. I think it helps. I don't know anybody else that does it, so take that with a grain of salt, but that's what I do. I think it helps and I like it, so I'm gonna do it that way. I'm not real sure how to do this and make it come out similar to that other piece. I really don't know how to do that. I'm kind of out on a limb here. I'm just gonna kind of, oh, I don't know. Let's see what color to do now. I'm just kind of feeling this out. You know, it's sort of a crapshoot, really, to be honest. But I like that yellow. Well, it's really sort of a burnt. It's not burnt umber. It's more of a raw sienna color. And oh, I'm not even telling y'all what I'm putting in there. This right here is a rouge from Master's Touch, the pink. And then the blue is Lake Blue, also Master's Touch. And the yellow color is a ColourArt pigment. And I think it's called something peach, but I can't, like I said, I can't read the label without my glasses. And I forget to wear my glasses, so I only need them when I'm reading. You know, I don't need them any other time, so I don't always remember to have them around. That's a pretty bronze, dark. It's a bronze, but I mixed some burnt umber with it to darken it a little bit. And I know this looks kind of ugly to start out, but I'll tell you what I found, and I know you may not believe it. It seems like to me, the weirder they look when you're pouring them, the prettier they are when you're finished. That's just the way mine have been. I don't know why. Alright, we're going to put the cell activator on, and for that, I have mixed, I'll let that wander a little far. Oh well, I am tired, y'all. I've been up for 4 nights working on this stuff, working with these pigments. A lot of the time I've spent developing these colored cell activators, and I made 6 of them yesterday because I got into a frenzy. And this one is Master's Touch Viridian paint, and I've added a little bit of Amsterdam white, titanium white paint, because there's something in the Amsterdam white that is not in anything else, and it is the thing that really oomph up the lacing and the cells like nothing else. I mean, everybody knows That sheleeart recipe for the white cell activator with the titanium white from Amsterdam is the best cell activator there is. So I thought, when you're making a colored one, why not add a little bit of that to it, and that way you get whatever chemical is in that white paint into your colored cell activator. And they work almost as well as the regular white one, and I know that the reason they don't work just as well is because I don't put as much of it, because it distorts the color, of course. But what I've been doing is, and I've gone through this and I've put it in the description very detailed a time or two, and I know I've talked about it several times, but I keep repeating it because it's something that nobody else is doing. And if you're trying to replicate any of this, you know, I want you to have that, you know, information, because it makes a difference if you want to try it. And if you really get into doing these blooms, you know, you're going to want a different color cell activator than white. And I had been doing black and using Amsterdam black paint and Floetrol, and it works okay, but it just doesn't work quite as well as the white does. So I thought, well, I'm going to add some white, some titanium white to it. And I do that even with my black. I add the black, and then I put in a little bit of white, and then I stir it up, and of course it's gray, and I add some, I have some Amsterdam ink that's black, and I add that to it. And I think that's probably the best way, because you're not adding a bunch more paint that you have to thin down. But you can add, you know, on the rest of them that I don't have ink for, I just add more paint and then just thin it down. And that way you get the benefit of that titanium, that Amsterdam titanium white as a cell activator, and you get the color that you want. It takes a little bit of mixing, it takes more time, you know, because you have to adjust the color and all of that stuff, but they work pretty well, I think. Like I said, you don't get the quantity and intricacy of lacing that you do with just the Amsterdam white, but it's pretty close. Y'all see my stuff. I mean, it's pretty close. Another thing I've been struggling with is this, the method of dispersing the paint. And with these big ones, it's real hard to just blow it all. I think that blowing is the best way to disperse the paint on a Dutch pour or a bloom. Hands down, period. There's nothing else that I've tried that creates the lacing in the cells the way just blowing with your mouth does. However, it's incredibly hard to blow this much paint around. So what I was trying to do, I've tried my hairdryer, I've tried my heat gun, I've tried my airbrush. I think the best way, and the way that I'm working with now that I just haven't perfected, is to blow the cell activator and everything out with my mouth, and then as fast as I can get that hairdryer, and then continue to blow the rest of it out. Because I don't have enough air to blow the rest of it, to blow it all. But if I can just get the cell activator and all that blown out, that will initiate cells and lacing, and then hopefully I can just use the hairdryer to continue them. That's what I'm trying to do now. So I'm standing on a cake pan because I can't find a big book. We're not illiterate, I promise, but there's not a big book around here anywhere I looked. So I'm standing on a cake pan here so I can get to it a little bit better. And we'll just see how this goes. This doesn't look anything like that other one did, but I used the colors that I thought most closely resembled what I used in that one, from what I could tell. So I still have to stand on my tiptoes. Okay, I gotta breathe. That spattered all over my face and all over the place. Okay, now we gotta get the hairdryer real quick, and I am lightheaded. Okay. Let's see. Okay, come on now, don't do this to me. trying to slowly, carefully blow out these end areas. They're kind of not fixed. All right, we're gonna see how we got, what we got left here. I'm just checking to see if all that paint's done moving around. I think it is. And we'll see what direction I'm gonna go in first. Well, it may still be moving because the center is not wanting to move with me. And that makes me think the paint is still running. Yeah, it's still running back to the center, so I don't need to try to tilt it yet. That's a mistake that I used to make all the time because I didn't realize it. But if the center, once you blow it out, if the center, you gotta wait for this paint. Once you blow it out that way, you gotta wait on it to migrate back into the center and become a hole. Because if you try to tilt it before it has migrated back, the center part will not move. And it will create a problem. It won't work. And sometimes it takes a while for this to move back in. And I used to torch during this period, but I quit torching because I noticed some little pinpricks in my piece. And I'm not sure that the torching caused them, but I think it might have. And I didn't want to take any chances. They weren't bad. They weren't anything real obvious, but I didn't like them. And so I quit doing that. And see, now that I got down on a different level with this just then, I can see the paint still moving. I have to get kind of eyeball level with it, you know, to see it, to see this depression in the middle. Because from standing up here, my eyes are bad. And from standing up here, I can't tell if it's moving or not sometimes. And I'll go ahead and think I can tilt, and I try to tilt, and just like what just happened, I'll start to tilt and the middle doesn't move, and I know something's wrong. I have to wait a little bit longer because you have to have the paint moving all together. Yeah, it looks pretty good. If the paint does not want to move all together, it will become distorted. I don't know how else to put it. I've heard, and I believe it's pretty much true, if your paint doesn't want to move as one, in other words, if the center stands still, either you haven't given it, I believe this to be true, either you haven't given it time to all migrate back, which is usually the reason, and the best reason that you want it to be, because you can fix that. Just wait. The other reason that it might not move, see how it's all moving together now? And before, this little part right here in the center did not move, and now it's moving. The other reason that the center can be not moving is because if your consistencies are off. And that's why I said you want the reason to be because it's not migrated back yet. Because if the consistencies are off, there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to have to remix stuff because something is thicker than something else. You know, either your pillow is thicker than your colors, or colors are thicker than your pillow. I think it's usually the former. But it just depends, and you have to just remix your paint and start over. And that really sucks. But I've done it more than once. Alright, now, see, I've created the stem back here. And then when I get done letting it go off, I just hold it up there, and the paint will, instead of pouring off the canvas, it'll migrate back up onto the canvas and stretch out again. And that reserves that paint. And I like to conserve the paint as much as I can. And what I'm doing now is migrating it, the weight of the paint back to the center before I go into that corner. Because if you don't do that, it's going to run straight from this side to that side and create a line that way. And I like if there's lines created, I want them to be from the center going out, not along the sides that way. That red and pinkish orange is beautiful up there. I really like that. I'm not seeing as much lacing so far as what I had hoped. But, you know, like I said, this is all still experimental right now on these big canvases. It may take a while for me to get everything working the way I want it to. I'll do it. I got it to work on a smaller one. I think I can do it on this one. Of course, I'm sorry y'all can't see good right now, but I gotta angle it this way. Of course, honestly, you know, I want to run that off. I don't like that green at the bottom. There's not just a whole lot I think I can't do with this. I really just believe in tenaciousness and working hard. And I think if you do those things, if you just don't give up and you work really hard, I think you can accomplish all kinds of stuff with painting. Especially pour painting. I think it's very amenable to hard work and practice. And I'm thinking this is, especially the red and everything, is really pretty. And I started not to put the red in it, but there was a little red in that other one. I've got more of it in this one than the other one, and I didn't exactly mean for that to happen. But, you know, the honest truth is there's no freaking way that I can make it just like that other one, no matter what I do. My hope was just to create another piece that looks similar. She may just have to be happy with another piece that's pretty. Different as it might be. My mother is the pickiest person I have ever tried to make anything for. She hated my painting at first. Hated it. And completely, constantly bitched that I needed to go back to just doing stained glass. And I still do stained glass, you know. I even have a couple of stained glass videos up. But I don't just do stained glass now. And I'm always open to new genres of artistic expression. And no, she was so against my painting. But I didn't pay any attention to her. I pay very little attention to negativity. I think it's counterproductive. If you don't like what I'm doing and you got something constructive to say about it, I'll totally listen to that. But bitching just for the sake of bitching, I don't have a lot of patience for. Well, this is going to be pretty. It's nowhere near what that other piece is. And I don't have the lacing that I wanted. I'm pissed about that. And I'm halfway thinking about trying to do something to it. But the other half of me says no, because it's going to, you know, I think it's going to be really pretty even without the lacing. It's got some cells between that up there in the red. You got some pretty blue cells poking their heads out, and that's neat. I'm going to continue to stretch it for a little while and see, you know, what we can get out of it. But it angers me that maybe I didn't put enough cell activator on it, because I'm not seeing very much of that cell activator still. There's a strip of it running right through down here, but I don't see a whole lot of it. I may not have used enough for a piece this size, and I could redo that. But I don't really want to redo it. There's some things I really like about what's going on in this piece, so I wish there was a way y'all could talk to me. I would really love for some of you regular ones, Cell Block and Tom and Tim and you guys, to be able to, you know, just buzz in and say, hey, don't touch it. Leave it alone, or go ahead, give it something different, you know. I love being able to talk to people about art, or, you know, have opinions, hear other people's opinions about something I'm doing. I find those very valuable. Because even if people don't know anything about art, they know what they like. Everybody has an opinion. I'm interested in all of them. I didn't used to know anything about art either. And I still don't, as far as like, you know, theoretical, literary, I've never had any art classes. I've never had any classes, so I don't know things about what something looks like from the Renaissance period compared to some other period or whatever. I know what Monet looks like. I know what Van Gogh looks like. I know what Picasso looks like. But I'm not some kind of art historian or anything like that. I don't have that kind of education. My education is all in science, and that's what I know. Geez, y'all, I don't know what to do with it. I don't really like the pattern it's made. I like the color. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna leave it alone. I like the colors in it. Yeah. At least for now. I'll leave it alone for now, and I'll let it dry. I'll tell you what, I'll leave it alone for now, and I'll let it dry, and let me push this part down just a little, stretch it a little more. Maybe you guys will tell me what y'all think. Because I can always come back and redo it, What I would probably do is not redo it completely. Just make another puddle there in the center. A smaller one, and blow it out and blend it in is what I would do. But like I said, I'm torn because there are things about it I like, which is often the case, I like this blue corner, this left corner down here, and I like all of the red and gold and stuff in the middle. I don't like the top left corner at all. And I don't care for all this zigzaggy stuff down here on the other end. I don't like it when it makes that pattern. However, I'm not really thinking I can do much about it. I might can. A little bit. I might can do this. Sometimes when it zigzags like that, if you just make it go back the opposite direction, it'll help. I don't know. I'm not sure that I have enough paint on there to make it move. Sorry, I know you can't see this. There's nothing happening anyway. Okay. I think I'm going to just let that be that and say I'm happy with parts of it and I'm not happy with parts of it. And I'm halfway real tempted to make a big puddle up there in that left corner, but I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to let it be. Maybe y'all can let me know what you think. Stay or go. Do or redo. Do not redo or redo. Y'all tell me. This is beautiful right in here. It's really pretty. That up there I don't like. And I'd try to push it off if I thought I could without getting rid of all the rest of this. And I don't think I can do that. I mean, there's things that are neat. It's got some little veins and stuff up there. It's, it's not horrible. It's just not my favorite thing. I don't know. Alright, well, let me get y'all down. Y'all take a close look and... Oh, I wonder if it's raining out there. I just saw we were going to have a thunderstorm watch, and I'm supposed to go to center, and I don't like driving in the rain. Oh, I hear it. I guess that means I'm making another video, because I'm not driving over there in the rain. I mean, I will. I'm not, like, phobic or anything, but if I can avoid driving in the rain, I will. Mainly, today, because of the way all these other people are driving, I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but people are driving like shit out there. Maniacs. I have had to, I'm trying to fix this. It's not there. It was not clear. I've had to go a couple of places, a couple of times. There's some air bubbles up there. And people are driving like nutcases. And like, you know, really rude driving. Too fast and cutting people off and just being rude. And I sure don't like it. I think people are cooped up inside. See those cells? There's some pretty cells. There's some.
If I had someone to stand on, I would be able to see it.
Yeah, I'm having to stand on my cake pan.
Yeah. I see.